It's loading. Oh, there it
All right.
goes. Okay. Should be good. Everything should be good. I'm gonna send you. No, I'll send you the link.
Remember, I'm praying in the spirit for you, buddy. You're good. You're okay.
Thank you. But alright, I'll text you the link.
Got it.
I love you.
I love you, buddy.
Alright, let's see here. I need to make sure the mic quality is okay. So that everything is okay with this. Let's see here. Alright. Hey, you guys. Okay. Let's see. Alright, yeah, my quality sounds good. Alright, I gotta turn it down some. Definitely gotta turn that down some. Okay. Let's see. Hey, you guys. So first of all, my name is Chase Williamson, and this will be my first video on this channel, and I'm here to tell you about my life story and kind of who I am and my walk with Christ. So we'll start at the very beginning of my life. It all started. I was actually saved when I was 4 years old. So I was saved then, and I knew then that I wanted to tell others about Christ, and that I wanted to let everybody know, who he was, and so that they could feel the same joy and the same passion that I had. But I didn't quite know how to do that, and so with that came. It came a lot of trouble. Growing up, like I always had, I don't know what the correct way to word it would be, but struggles. I came from a great family. Everybody's always, been really supportive of me as far as, sports-wise. I played sports growing up, and as far as just other different things go. But I also had a lot of, like, things that I never understood in life, as far as like what I wanted to do in life, and as far as what I wanted to do in life and where I wanted to take it. but I still knew, growing up, my grandmother, she's the one that always helped me out in life. She, she's the one that taught me about, who Christ was and the things that he's done for us. And, he's the one that taught, she is the one that taught me, basically how to live, and how to, taught me right from wrong. My parents taught me right from wrong as well, but, she's always been there for me. She was always the person who I knew that I could call on, and she'd always be there for me. And so having somebody stable like that was always, really big in my life, because I didn't have to really worry about, not having anybody on my side, or, feeling like I was completely alone. And I know not a lot of people have that, and I'm blessed to have her in my life. And now that I've grown, I've got even more people that are just there for me, that are on my side. And so if you're wondering why I keep changing headsets, it's because this is how I hear myself, so I can hear if I'm talking loud enough, or if if you can hear me and everything else. So but anyways, back to what I was saying. So I grew up, living, with my family. I've got my mom, my dad, and my little sister. And growing up, it was always pretty easy. We never really had a lot of money, but we always made it through. We always lived comfortably. Everything was fine. Everything was always fine. It was just, I always felt a lot of pressure to succeed, just because I never wanted to, I didn't want to fail. I always felt like I had to succeed. I wanted to make my parents proud and everything else. And doing that caused a lot of pain for me, because for a long time, I ignored my own happiness and ignored what I wanted to do in life. And so when I was at a young age, I wanted to be a marine biologist. And then, growing up, that changed. When I got into high school, I wanted to be an engineer. That changed. And so the only thing that I knew that I wanted to do for sure was tell people about my faith. And I never knew how. And I was never really comfortable with opening up. Never really comfortable with opening up about my faith and stuff like that. I'm not a big people person. And that's where my struggle is. I have to work on that a lot. And so it's hard for me to talk about my faith. And I got into streaming my freshman year of high school, playing video games. I would be streaming, different games, Call of Duty, a couple of other shooter games, and so I would stream those, and I loved it. I made YouTube videos, I did all that, and there was a long time that I wanted to be a professional gamer, but streaming was definitely, it's one of the few things that I had in life that I love to do. Like I said, I played sports, but that was never really big on me. I loved playing them, but they just weren't my thing. I couldn't get into them like I did streaming. Excuse me, but I always would come back to streaming. And moving on, I stopped streaming for a while, and then picked it up my senior year, and I streamed for about 6 months, and then I couldn't find the time to stream anymore. I had graduated and was going into my first year of college, and also I had a girlfriend and everything else, and I was working, and so I just couldn't have time to stream. And so I would put it off and put it off and put it off, and at this time I had no idea what I wanted to be in life. I had no idea, and I felt pressure. I felt really pressured that I had to figure out what I wanted to be, and so it started to get to the point to where that I was putting my own happiness aside to just do what everybody around me wanted me to do, as far as going to college and working and just being the person that everybody else wanted me to be, instead of focusing on my own happiness. And that's another thing that I want to address real quick is if you're going through life right now and you're not happy, or you feel like that you have to do what everybody else wants you to do, and you're not happy, like, you've got to fix that. You've got to change that, because at the end of the day, your own happiness is what matters more than anything else. If you're not happy, you can't make the people around you happy, and it's not okay. So just focus on your life, and just know that, like, not everything has to be decided right now. If you're young like me, I mean, I'm only 19 years old. You don't have to figure out life right away. Even if you are older and you still don't know what you feel like that your life around you is not what you want it to be, or if it's not how you want it to be, it's okay. It's okay. At the end of the day, everything will be fine. God works in mysterious ways. Even I've seen it myself. I prayed every day for the past 2 years, at least a year, and I know it's probably more, but we'll just say, to play it safe, at least a year I've prayed every day that God helps me, and He helps me to figure out what I want to do in life, and helps me figure out what it is that I'm supposed to do, and I knew there was always a reason why I couldn't find anything that I enjoyed, and I was talking with my girlfriend, and she brought up streaming, and which is crazy because she doesn't even like me streaming, and she doesn't like me streaming for her reasons, and so I respected that, and so I didn't stream. And then the more and more we talked about it, the more and more that I could tell that this was what I meant to do, is I meant to stream. And so finally, I guess I talked her into it, or actually, I'm not even gonna take the credit for that. God opened up her eyes and showed her that what we can do, or what this means to me, because everybody that knows me knows my struggles over the past few years about not knowing what to do, and it stressed me out a lot that I didn't have a plan for life. I didn't have a plan. I always knew that God had a plan for me, but I didn't know what that plan was, and to me that was hard. It was hard for me to deal with that, because and so I was stressful. It was stressful. It was I would lay in bed at night and stress over, what am I doing wrong? Why is God not answering me? Why is He not showing me what it is I'm supposed to do? Why does it feel like He's not there? And I had to keep pushing those aside and just keep praying. And I had other people around me praying, and so what I ended up doing was I got a job that kept my parents happy. And then I would look at other options, and could never find anything. And then finally, right now I'm streaming, and I know I'm all over the place talking, but I didn't really have a plan coming into this. I really was just, my plan was to start streaming and talk about my story, and so I'm really just talking about whatever God puts in my head. So I'm sorry that I'm bouncing around, but I have a vision that by me streaming right here, and I can talk about God, I can talk about my relationship with Him, and I'm hoping that it helps the people that watch this with their faith and their life. And I never doubted God. But I did doubt myself. And by me doubting myself, I sold myself short. I um I didn't want to um uh um back to my life. I got completely off tangent. I was just thinking about my life. um so I stressed a lot in high school. I stressed a lot about my grades, about what I wanted to do, and what my life was going to be like after high school. And I didn't know. I never really knew. I mean, even now, I still don't know exactly. All I know is that I have to stream. And so me stressing caused a lot of problems for me. It it caused me to not sleep. I lost. God, there's no how many nights I've spent, up all night long, stayed up late, until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, worrying about, my life, and worried about how I'm going to provide for my future family, and worrying about how I'm going to just move on. And so for me to stream and be able to do this, and talk about my faith is it means everything to me. And so and I thank you to the people that watch this. um, but I don't know. The only thing is like I don't know why I'm doing this, other than the fact to tell people about God, and the fact that God told me to do this. And so my plan for this channel is to start out just, every week you know talking about Christ, and the things He's done for us, and talking about just different things that God brings to me. And I know I'm bouncing all over the place again, but it's been a long time since I've done this, and I'm really out of practice. Um, and so I gotta work on some things. Next time I'll write it down. I'll write down everything I want to say beforehand. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this. This was all kind of God laid it on my heart last week to start streaming and to start this. And so I prayed about it all week long and spent most of the time praying about it. And when I finally found out that this is what I was gonna do, I didn't even leave myself any time to actually plan anything. And so I'm talking about my life story. But no, I just so my struggles growing up are nothing compared to other people's. I know of stories of other people that they go through things way worse than me, and that's why I'm starting this stream. That's why I want to stream, is to help, people who go through day-to-day life that, dealt with some of the same things I have, and dealt with some of the things that are worse than me, who didn't have God in their life, and who don't know the joy that Jesus brings. Because He really does. It's if you truly accept God into your life, and you start living for Him, He changes your entire life. He changes your mind. He changes your attitude. He changes your outlook. I mean, He changes everything about you. And you just you feel you don't feel empty anymore. And so I know what it's like to feel like you've got nowhere to turn to and nowhere to go. And I know what it feels like to feel like you don't have a purpose in life, and that you're here, that you're just here. You're not here for anything else. other than to just you just live. And that's not true, because it's God has a plan for every single person on earth. God has a plan, even if they don't know Him. God has a plan for them, and even though you may not know that plan right now, it's still in effect. It's still God still has that plan written down, and you will live out that plan. As long as you follow Him, and if you are, I gotta think of how to word it, how I want to word it, but during life, when you go through life, it's hard. It's hard. Um, Sorry if the stream is lagging. My stream it's having trouble connecting for some reason, probably a network issue. Um, but anyways, it'll connect itself. It's just having some latency issues, but it should be good now. I think everything's okay. But thank you to the people that are watching right now. If it is buffering on your end, I'm watching it myself right now to make sure that everything is going well, and so I can see it lagging on my end. But anyways, going through life is hard when you're doing it alone, but you're not alone. You're never alone. You always have God and you always have Jesus with you when you know how to ask Him. But it's it's amazing, what you can, just by knowing Jesus and just by asking Him to your life, how easy it is, how easy things get. And I'm very, very blessed in the fact that I was saved at a young age, and so I don't really know what it's like to go through life without God, but I know what it's like to go through life without anybody else there. Growing up, I never really had many friends. I had a few, but I didn't have a lot of friends. And my parents were there, but my parents have both worked their whole lives, and so I'm used to my parents being gone during the day and then not coming home until late at night. And so when they get home, they're tired, and so they go and they cook dinner, and then they maybe watch a little TV before they go to bed. And so for the majority of my life, I've spent my life alone, especially through high school. And the only person I had that I ever had with me was my grandmother. She was always there for me. And then for the past 3.5 years, I've had my girlfriend and her family there with me, and having them be there with me is amazing, and having these people around me is amazing. But I know there are people out there that have nobody, and it's hard. It's hard going through life alone. It's hard feeling like you're in the fight yourself, that you are doing life and fighting life completely alone. I can't even begin to imagine what it is, what you're going through. I can't imagine what you're going through in life, and I never will. But what I do know is that there's a God, and there is a man who came to earth, and His name was Jesus Christ, and He literally gave up His life to save ours. And he paid the ultimate sacrifice for every single person. People that 1,000 years later, 2,000 years later, are are still being saved by Him. And I don't understand it's not that I don't understand, but it's you're never alone in life. You're never alone in the fact that no one's there to help you, because he is. The same person that died and was resurrected, he's here to help you. As long as you believe in him, you believe in who he was, believe in the things he did, he'll be there to help you. And I don't want to say I know what it's like to be depressed, because I don't believe in my life that I've ever been truly depressed and had true depression. But I do know what it's like to feel helpless and worthless, and like you have no purpose in life and you have no direction and nowhere to go. I know what that's like. I lived it for 4 years, and it's hard. It's hard, but there's so many things to look forward to. There's so many things, and with God in your life, being accepted by Christ, like that makes all the difference in the world. Because God being in your life, he helps you to look towards the future. He helps you to see the road ahead, see that the road doesn't end here. Because it doesn't. It never ends, where you expect it to. And I'm completely losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say right now. But anyways, moving on. Yes, God is good. But anyways, moving on. God works in ways that none of us understand. God moves in ways that none of us understand, and it's not always meant for us to understand. But our plan, he has a plan for us, and it's our job to work towards him and to build our relationship with him, build our faith in him, and move to grow in him, and when we grow in him, that plan begins to be put in motion, that plans to begin to work. And so, right now, if you're sitting in life and you feel like that you're stagnant, or you feel like that, you're losing direction, and that you're using, you feel like you don't have a purpose, you feel like that you're just here to wake up in the morning, live your every day-to-day life, come back home and go to sleep, and that's what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life until the day you die. That's not true. Because God has a plan for everybody, and that plan, will take you to places that you never thought of, that you didn't even dream that you could be in, and do things that you never thought were even possible. Just like right now, I can promise you that I would never have thought that, I was going to sit, that my passion and the thing that I wanted to do in life was to sit right here and, talk into this camera and this microphone right here about, who I am, about my life, and about what God has done for me, and about what God can do for you. It's crazy to me, because it's there's so many things that you can do in life, and it's if you just talk to God, every day, and you try to read, maybe a few verses every day, like that little bit right there opens up so many doors that you have no idea are even possible. And if you're not a Christian, if you're watching this and you're not a Christian, I really encourage you to, seek out and seek out on your own and look at this. If you don't understand Christianity, or if there's things you don't understand, if there's things that you don't like about Christianity, or whatever the reason why maybe you grew up and you're not in a religious household, I really encourage you to, I'm sure you have a smartphone. You can download a Bible app on your phone. I use the Bible app YouVersion. I think it's a really great app. And you can just read some of the passages. I encourage you to really, really read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the books that talk about Jesus and who he was. There are other books that reference him and that talk about his story and stuff like that. But those four, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those four books right there, they tell his story. And just go in and read the stories about him and the things that he's done. And if you're not into reading, maybe you don't like to read, or maybe the Bible is just not for you. You don't think you're not ready at that point yet. There's a thing on Netflix. It's a series on Netflix, and I want to say it's called The Bible. Just that's what it's called, or something along the lines of that. And it talks about like stories in the Bible, about certain stories in the Bible, like even if you are a Christian, I encourage you to watch those, because it shows you, it brings the stories to life, and it kind of gives you a perspective, like a visual perspective of the Bible and what it is, and it's very accurate. I've gone back and looked at some of the stories that it talks about in the episode, and it's accurate. And it's an amazing movie, or TV series, excuse me. I want to say it's got like 8 or 9 episodes. It might have more episodes. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been a minute since I watched it. But anyways, it's something that you can, get a little bit of information on. It's something that you can get a little bit of, get an idea of, who God is and the things he's done. But it's truly amazing the things that God can do in your life when you accept him. The miracles that he can work. And a lot of things, I hear a lot of people say that miracles are done. Miracles died when Jesus died. And that's not true, because I've seen miracles in my own life. I've seen miracles in the lives of people around me. And then, I've heard stories of miracles that have happened, with God and stuff like that are, miracles are not dead. If you feel like right now, like, oh, I need a miracle to get through whatever I'm going through, or I need a miracle to get through, what's going on in my life right now. Don't think that that's impossible. Don't think that the position you're in, that you're in a position right now that'll never, change, that'll never, you're stuck where you are, because you're not. You have one of the most amazing opportunities, by accepting Jesus and by following his will, because he will come into your life, and I promise you, if you really and truly accept him and you really try to live your life to be with him, he will completely change you, and he will get you out of whatever situation you're in right now, whatever bad situation you're in, or problems you're having, whether it be financial or problems in a relationship, or, health problems. He will get you out of those things, and you have to have the faith to do that. I've seen, the things that he can do. I've seen the people that, what people looked like before they met Christ, and the people they are now. And they're completely different people. And so it's super, 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 super crazy to me to see, people's lives being changed just by the decision they make right now. And it's true, the decisions you make right now, the decisions you make in these few minutes right here, in this moment in time right now that you're watching this, you don't know what it'll affect in the future. So it's baffling. Um, but and I'm sure people watching this probably think I'm crazy right now. That this has like no plan. It's got if this was like an essay, like an English essay, it would definitely get an F. It has no thesis. It had no beginning. It had the middles all twisted around. Um, and so I definitely have a lot to work on. Me doing this stream and telling my story about this definitely has shown me that I've got to work on this a lot. Um, but so but I think I've said everything I want to say in this first video. Um, but I don't feel like there's anything else I need to talk about. I don't feel like God is telling me to say anything else. But I don't feel like that there's anything that else I need to say. So at this point, I'm just gonna pray and wrap this stream up. But I thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in and hearing me, at least listening to me ramble on and on. But I do appreciate it. So I'm gonna take this moment to pray. But dear Heavenly Father, I praise you and thank you for this day. And Lord, I ask that you please forgive me of my sins. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to stream and to be able to do the thing that I love to do, and for it to glorify you, God. I want to ask you to be with me in my life, Lord, and I ask that you be in the lives of everybody that's watching this, Lord, and the people who aren't watching it that need to see this, Lord. I ask that you please bring them to this video so that they can watch it and that they can understand that there is a purpose in life for them, that there is a plan, that God, that you put them on earth for a very specific reason, Lord. And I pray that you bring them here so that they can see that and understand that, Lord. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for me in my life and everything you've done for the people around me. And I ask that you please continue to help me and to help other people and to help the people that watch this, Lord. Help them in their struggles. Help them to further their relationship with you and to further their faith, Lord. And Lord, I ask that you please be with us and be around our friends and family and loved ones, Lord. And we pray all these things in your name, Lord. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you all.